That's it. Well, let's get a view coming in from Pashupati Advani, founder and chairman of Global Foray. Hi, Mr. Advani. Good afternoon. Good to see you in, as always. Trump, what do you think he's going to do next? I mean, it's a shocker. It's spoiled sentiment. But would you be using this kind of an opportunity to get in? Or do you think things are too uncertain? There's a bullish argument. Our exports are less than 1.5% of GDP, etc. We know all of that, right? I mean, it's going to pull down GDP by 20, 30 basis points or thereabouts. Would you be looking this uncertainty to buy, or would you stay away?
I'll tell you one thing. I'm probably going to stay away simply because he is unfortunately extremely unpredictable, and we don't know whether he's coming or going. And every day he produces a new number. I believe the number for Switzerland was created because they had a 39 billion deficit to Switzerland, US, because the Americans buy watches and chocolates from Switzerland. And so he decided on the basis of that, it would be 39%. That's the rumor. That's what people are saying. So any number can come out from him. He's not, and until the deal is signed, and even if it's signed deal, he can always rip it up and try again. He's capable of doing that. But the reality is, I think once it's signed, there's some sanctity. But I think we're still a ways from getting it signed. So, even though our government has been reasonably optimistic about signing, he's still fan dancing, it looks like. So it's going to take a little bit of time. However, I don't think that's the real issue. The real issue, according to me, is, our market runs on supply and demand, and our promoters are smartly figuring out that let's do IPOs. So every day there's 1, 2, 3 big IPOs. You've mentioned some in the last half an hour, like you mentioned NSDL and Lotus. They are both all big IPOs, and plus there's this other one, this Realty Trust, Knowledge Realty Trust that's coming. These are all big, what I would call money sucks, and I think that's what's making people come into different stocks and look at different perspectives. And I don't know whether that's the place to be, but the fact is that IPO after IPO and 30 times and 40 times oversubscribed, that's pushing the market down, in my opinion.
Pashupati, hi. I take your point, but have you been subscribing to any? Whether NSDL, Lotus, there's so many of them in the last 1 month.
Honestly, I've actually found that it's better to subscribe to the IPO 3 to 6 months after the IPO, when it comes back to the price and you can actually buy what you want. That's tended to work out, 8 out of 10 times, 9 out of 10 times. Lotus is, according to me, a super company and very well managed, and I actually know the promoter. In fact, when I saw the prospectus, I sent him a congratulations. I've known him a very long time. And NSDL, there's nothing else to be said. It's a competitor to CDSL. CDSL has obviously come off a little bit because of NSDL coming to market, because people want to be in both. But, technically, I personally feel CDSL is better, but NSDL's 6 of one, half a dozen of the other. But, these are not, I'm watching IPOs come, go up 5, 10, 15%, then come back to the original price, maybe slightly lower. So that's the time to decide if you want to take a position or not. And that's really the way to play it.
There's another one which will come next week, and that's called Bluestone IPO, which is an omni-channel gems and jewelry company. So it's like the lens cards. It's a tech-first kind of product, but it's omni-channel. They have their own stores as well. So the issue opens on 11th, closes on 13th, that's next week. And they're looking to raise about 40 crore. And they're coming with a valuation of about 8,000 crore rupees in terms of market capitalization. It's growing very fast, but FY25, there was a loss of more than 200 crore rupees. So it's been loss-making, and they're the new kid on the block next week.
So many IPOs, and that's a valid point. And money-sucking machines, maybe, as Pashupati is saying. Pashupati, there's another issue, and we want to get your sort of thoughts on this whole business of F&O market curbing speculation, and then it's also leading to damage in stock prices, capital market stocks, right? Before we ask Pashupati's view on this whole issue, let's listen into the latest commentary that's come in from SEBI Chairman Tuhin Kant Pandey. He was commenting on news reports of the weekly expiry being pushed to a fortnightly expiry. Listen to what he had to say.
When it comes to options market, SEBI's time and again also spoken about cutting down on excessive speculation and increasing cash market volumes. First of all, what are your views on the excessive speculation in the options market? Also, what has been communicated from the finance ministry? And there were a few suggestions that we were understanding of removing weekly expiry and making it fortnightly or even monthly. Could you help us understand if that is also under consideration?
I'm not aware of any such communication. I think, Harsh, you have been running some story. I think it's your own speculative thing. And what we have been saying is quite out in the open. Whenever we do anything with respect to anything, I've said it before that we need some reforms, but what will be the nature of those reforms and how it will be treated? As per our practice, we always discuss with the markets. We always put out consultation papers.
The exchanges have to provide the solutions to the markets depending on what the regulatory framework is. So depending on whatever SEBI wants, naturally the exchanges will have to comply. And that is their job also. We also have a frontline regulator's job in addition to being able to provide you services and also being a business for profit. But our main role is of regulators and naturally whatever SEBI or Ministry of Finance decides, we'll have to comply with.
The latest sort of the statements that have come in from extremely important stakeholders in this whole matter in terms of whether the options market needs to be tightened further. Pashupati, your thoughts? Have you altered any positions on stocks like BSE, and we were speaking about NSDL itself, or even a CDSL? How should one now approach capital market plays, which would up until now a great way to play the bull run?
But, to be fair, I think there are going to be curbs that are going to lower volumes. We've already seen it. However, who are the stakeholders? The stakeholders are the exchanges. The stakeholders are, they're the ones who want to make money. So they are not inclined to lower volumes at all. So whatever they can keep with as little regulation as possible, they're very happy to do it. India is very fortunate because we have a lot of retail consumers and they continue to come. So that's actually the resilience of India. But unfortunately, they have lost money. Every study that we've seen shows them losing money, in every cycle. The challenge that we have is that you have an entity like Jane Street that has used their money to make money. And in a sense, there's very little illegal about it. It's just that it's quote unquote unfair. They have the money. They have the money to be able to trade out of positions. And so they've made a lot of money. And the fact that they were able to deposit whatever the amount was, 4,300 crores that SEBI asked them, and say, let us go back to trading, that kind of surprised me, because that means they've made a hell of a lot more. And that's come out of our retail public, and that's not good. Because that retail public could be buying the IPOs that really are going to fuel this country into the next, the next cycle. I mean, we need these IPOs, we need the money, and we can't afford for thousands and thousands of crores to be lost in F&O. So that's my spin on it. And, options pricing has always been very weighted towards the people with money. And, it's the way they've been traded. And it's sad. But then, you've got the speculative instinct of the Indian punter who thinks that everyone's going to get rich tomorrow. So you've got to balance that. And SEBI's not got an easy job, and neither do the two exchanges. Of course, NSE being the main one driving it. But we'll see what happens. Surabhi?
Okay, all right. So we have to see what happens on tariffs, see what happens on regulation, and we have to see what happens with the RBI policy as well, considering today was status quo. That kind of a time, right? We're simply waiting for more clarity on several parameters. Good conversation, short one because of lots of earnings today, Pashupati, but thank you very much for joining in. We look forward to a longer chat.